At least 2 people were killed, as well as an armed attacker in a shootout in Auckland, New Zealand's largest city, early Thursday. The violence came hours before the city was due to host the opening match of the Women's Soccer World Cup. Police say the gunman arrived at a construction site with a pump-action shotgun and moved through it floor to floor, firing as he went. When he reached the upper levels, he contained himself within an elevator shaft. Further shots were fired, and he was later found dead. A witness described panic as the events unfolded.
We were right at the entrance, and I saw like 20 people rushing out of the building and telling the pedestrians to move. I was like, what happened? And I go ask them, they say like, we saw a guy with a shotgun in his hand and he was aiming for people.
Local TV news captured the moment an injured police officer was escorted onto an ambulance. He's among a number of people who were wounded in the incident. The shooting took place near hotels where soccer teams are staying for the FIFA Women's World Cup tournament, which kicks off Thursday evening at Eden Park. New Zealand Prime Minister Chris Hipkins said there'll be increased police presence. However, he ruled out cancelling the matches altogether.
I want to reiterate that there is no wider national security threat. This appears to be the actions of one individual. Aucklanders and those watching around the world can be assured that the police have neutralised the threat and that they are not seeking anybody else in relation to the incident.
He added police haven't been able to identify any ideological or political reasons for the shooter's actions. Gun violence is rare in New Zealand. The country saw its worst peacetime mass shooting in 2019, when a shooter, a suspected white supremacist, killed 51 Muslim worshippers in Christchurch. The government responded then with swift gun reform. All military-style semi-automatics were banned, and a gun registry was launched last month.
After US soldier Travis King dashed into North Korea on Tuesday, diplomatic relations between Washington and Pyongyang are once again in the spotlight. The US State Department on Wednesday said it had reached out to counterparts in the North Korean People's Army for information, but it hadn't heard back yet. State Department spokesman Matthew Miller.
As you can imagine, in a situation like this, those discussions are quite sensitive, and I'm not prepared to go into all the details at this time. What I will say is that we here at the State Department have engaged with counterparts in South Korea and with Sweden on this issue, including here in Washington.
Previously, Sweden has played a crucial role in contact between Western governments and North Korea as one of the only countries with an embassy in Pyongyang. But using that channel right now could prove tricky.
Normally, when Americans have been in this kind of situation before, the US government needs to go through the Swedish embassy in Pyongyang, but that's currently closed because of COVID-19, so the US will have to figure out a new diplomatic route.
Ta Yong-ho is a former North Korea diplomat. He told Reuters that while it might initially look like Pyongyang has unexpectedly acquired diplomatic leverage, it won't necessarily lead to significant gain for the communist state.
I'm skeptical about whether North Korea would use this US military personnel politically, given his military rank is not that high.
The cost for North Korea of security, surveillance, and interpretation for King could also start to stack up too. A growing number of analysts have also cast doubt on how Pyongyang will be able to use King to their advantage. Joshua Fitt is from the Center for New American Security.
I would have to imagine that they're not very optimistic about what they can get for him, but at the same time, the United States is committed to bringing home citizens from detention abroad.
Yet some have told Reuters discussions over the soldier's fate could see some of the first direct diplomatic engagement between North Korea and the United States in years. Pyongyang reportedly has a standard playbook for treating American and other Western detainees or defectors well in order to avoid political blowback. One notable exception is US college student Otto Warmbier, who died in 2017 shortly after being released from a North Korea prison. Ellen Kim is with the Center for Strategic and International Studies.
We don't want to see another Otto Warmbier case, and I don't think that North Korea will try that because it could have a huge consequences.
The bigger question, however, is whether King's dash could affect stalled denuclearization talks or crack the North's lingering isolation following the COVID-19 pandemic. The North has been pressing on with ballistic missile tests. The latest of those was timed for the arrival in South Korea of a US nuclear-armed ballistic missile submarine for the first time since the 1980s.
this submarine is there to show U.S. commitment to defense of South Korea. And if not, then that will make South Korea really think about going nuclear seriously. So that's a worst case scenario.
North Korea remained silent on the situation on Thursday. State media, which in the past reported on the detention of US nationals, have also not commented on the incident so far.